our deputation is in relation to the hard FM contract. I believe it's item 7.5. Now, first of all, I have to let everyone know that, our branch specifically, and I don't believe the trade unions in Edinburgh Council were particularly aware of this. There may have been some contact with some unions at some levels, and right from the start. But bearing in mind that this contract was, the work on this has been going on for about 2.5 years. I'm really quite surprised that as a branch we only recently became aware of it. Yeah, but I'm not going to dwell on the past. But I think we've missed an opportunity there for trade unions, council trade unions, to be involved in seeing how, and this is going to be the thrust of our argument here, seeing how we can actually bring this work in-house. Now, we know that the likes of Carillion collapse, and what happens is the public sector is left to pick up the baby and deal with the problem. We also know that some of these contractors, that the work is not always pristine, right? We know that perhaps our work in-house is not always pristine either, but are we swapping like for like there? And then the other part of things is, well, what happens to the workforce? The workforce are getting a huge message here saying you're not good enough, and we'll just hand it over to someone else. When the workforce could be getting a message saying, right, let's build you up to being better, right? Now, also, and I think this is going to be significant for yourself, Councillor Munn, Councillor Griffiths, all the councillors on this, is what effect does this have? I mean, this contract is it's up to 180 million, and it's up to 10 years because it's a 7-year contract with a 3-year option to extend. Now, for the next 10 years, are we going to be paying out from Edinburgh 180 million to two private sector, two large, potentially multinational corporations? And where does that money go? Now, okay, there may be elements where it can be subcontracted down to local contractors. Will it be subcontracted at the same rates that the council would pay directly to those local contractors? It probably, I guess, it probably won't be. Additionally, right, and this is probably the whole crux of the matter, right? In our economic recovery, which we are trying to do in the city of Edinburgh, what message does it send to the residents of Edinburgh when we say very publicly that we are going to give 180 million of public sector money to a couple of private companies, some of it that might end up in the Cayman Islands? There will be an economic recovery for people who bank in the Cayman Islands, perhaps, but what will that 180 million pounds actually do for the citizens of Edinburgh? And I really think we're missing an opportunity to actually hold back on this and see what can be done more locally, bring it in-house, or bring elements of it in-house, because otherwise we are doing a disservice to our own economic recovery, and we are doing a disservice to our own workforce, our own citizens. Imagine yourself as a parent right now. Some of you may be parents, and you're looking at your son or daughter. How do you help your son or daughter get a decent job, a good paying job, a secure job, a stable job, with a decent pension and decent terms and conditions? Is it we'll just send them over to Mitie, sorry to name them, or is it we'll try and get them a job in the council, we'll create more jobs in the council, and that's how the public sector can lead its economic recovery, and it's incumbent on us to lead the economic recovery in Edinburgh. So I will stop here and I'll hand over to Andy just in a moment, but the thrust of our point is we need this delayed so that all of us, trade unions, councillors, senior officers, can look at how we can scrape back, if that be the term, some of this work back in-house. Andy?
I'd just like to add, thanks, Brian, I'd just like to add that we've got a workforce that's already stressed and anxious, a workforce whose morale's already at rock bottom, and to be honest, this feels like the final blow on the route to privatisation. And obviously there's a major concern about our jobs as it is, and this just doesn't look good for us at all.